So this morning brought the kids to school and I have to do a trade in Pokemon cards. My little boy brought these 2 cards home the other day, and it turns out they're fake, and turns out that Pokemon cards can be worth quite a lot, can't they, Maxie? Yeah, Rainbow Rare apparently is worth about £50, so he exchanged his Rainbow Rare for a fake card. So I've got to sort that out and do a deal at the school gates. It just goes to show that, you know, these paper cards have got no intrinsic value as such, but it's all perceived value, and that's what it's about, demand and supply. Exactly the same in any market, in any world, in the world rather. Currency market's exactly the same. All about demand and supply, all about perceived value. Well, it's quarter to 4 on Monday afternoon, which is day 96. So fast approaching the 100th day. Getting dark already. It's crazy how the winter is drawing in. Very quick update. 4 trades on. These exclude the SIG 1 strategies. 4 trades on, 4 trades protected. I have a 5th trade which I entered earlier on this morning, which is New Zealand dollar. Just looking at the New Zealand dollar CAD along. This is a Golden Gate strategy. So that's struggling just to get some legs at the moment. Basically price in a range, so I either use the range strategy or Golden Gate strategy. Price closed above the SMAs on the 240 chart. I entered on the close, or just after the close of the close above the 50 SMA, and yeah, just waiting to see if we get a push up to the top of the range where I'll take off half of the position. So not really a lot going on. I'm going back to write a blog post today, which is basically about something that happened on Friday, about how we do stuff automatically. Automation, it's called open loop control, where we do stuff. We don't really think about what we're doing. We don't really question why we're doing it. It's an automatic response to some kind of stimulus or stuff that we've always done. And in trading, that can be very unhelpful. Because you have to question all the time what you're doing. Don't just do what you've done because you've always done it. Anyway, if you want to have a look at that, you can find that at stgforex.tv. I'm just going to check that we are on day 95, which I'm pretty sure we, in fact, beg your pardon, we're on day 96, of course, Monday. So we'll be on day 100 on Friday. Wow, that's come around fast. So yeah, check that out, day 96, stgforex.tv. I'm talking about this open loop control. Are we really in control of what we're doing, or are we on automatic pilot? So check it out there. Okay, quick update. Missed this one. I was out at Jiu-Jitsu today. My stop took care of it. My T61S, which was my pound Aussie dollar short, basically closed above the 50 simple moving average, you can see here, and triggered my trailing stop. Trailing stop was placed at entry. So this trade, a winning trade, but it was always struggling to close below the 200 simple moving average. So you know, got away with about a 1% return on this particular position. So contradicting what I said a moment ago, now have 4 trades in play. The 3 of them protected, and New Zealand dollar CAD unprotected, and yeah, just trying to find its feet. Well, good afternoon. Pretty late jumping on the video today. Planned to do this morning, got completely waylaid. Busy morning, went to Jiu-Jitsu at lunchtime. Great for the mind, great to escape the markets. Great to think about one thing without being distracted by anything else. When you're doing Jiu-Jitsu, the only thing you can think about is Jiu-Jitsu, because if you don't, you'll pay the price. So yeah, feeling quite good. Bit frustrating in the markets. Overnight, there was some surprise news out. Westpac over in New Zealand came out with a statement that said they were expecting a rate cut. Rates are due out in terms of the Reserve Bank of New Zealand today, so they're expecting a rate cut. As a result, New Zealand dollar weakened across the majority of the pairs. My New Zealand dollar CAD long. I was given this 24 hours, as I do, with my stop pressure plus 10 rule to close in favour of my trade. Didn't do that, so there was a forced exit. I had to take that in line with the rules, which cost me about 1% of my capital. With that said, Euro US dollar short seems to be progressing well, although stalling a little bit at the even handle, and my Euro Swiss franc short seems to be progressing very well. So you know, what you lose on the roundabouts, you gain on the swings, or whatever the expression is, and that's really the nature of trading. You lose on some, but you lose small, and you win on well, you win on some as well, but you win big, and that's really the name of the game. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of New Zealand later on. I'm out of that trade now, so completely de-risked from that. Having said that, on my SIG1 strategy, I have a New Zealand dollar CAD long, but I trade that on the weekly charts, so pretty much immune to the noise that goes off on the intraday charts. But if there is a rate cut, that could impact that trade. But there's nothing for me to do on that. I look at that every week, and we're not quite at the end of the week, so we're fast approaching day 100. Yeah, kind of today, you know, I caught myself this morning wanting to get into trades that perhaps weren't optimal trades, just kind of wanting the action, wanting to make money right now, and that's really not what trading is about. You make money when the market is ready to give you money. You're just going to make sure you're there to take advantage of that when it happens. So stop myself doing that. My blog post yesterday is all about this thing, open loop control, where we just do stuff without really thinking about it. What I'm trying to do with my journaling and with my analysis each and every day, it's building a good habit, but also disrupting that subconscious thinking, challenging everything that I'm doing, bringing that into my conscious mind, and asking the question, is this in line with my rules? Is this potentially a high probability trade? And if it's not, being prepared to pass on it. Well, good morning. It is day 98, just gone 6 o'clock, and I'm up to do the morning market analysis. Had a quick look at the charts of the news overnight. The Reserve Bank of New Zealand kept their rates as is, and as a result, New Zealand dollar pairs spiked a bit. So my New Zealand dollar CAD, which I enforced, exited yesterday with stop pressure 10 rule, took a 1% loss. I now would have made a 1% gain and be well on the way to my target. Hey, that's frustrating, that's disappointing, but those rules are there to protect me. What if things had gone the other way? If they'd have cut, then it would have been a very, very different story. So I can't beat the rules up. The rules will sometimes get me out of trades that could have been winners, but the winning approach is always to follow the rules. So yeah, trades look to be doing pretty well this morning. My Australian New Zealand dollar long, should I say, was stopped out. This was trading into the top of the range. Already made money on this trade, so took a tiny little loss on the second position. That'll just be the broker fees, and that's it. So that's a winning trade. So pretty excited to get into the market this morning and to see what is going on. But in the meantime, the new regime is porridge. We watched this film the other night called The Game Changers on Netflix, and are moving to more of a kind of plant-based diet. Supposed to be good for you. So I've actually got porridge with coconut milk, so no idea what this is going to taste like, but in fact, let's have a little try and see. Not bad actually. There you go, recommendation for coconut milk. Give it a try, it tastes pretty good. So there's that trade. I've got to talk quietly because everybody's asleep. There's that trade. New Zealand dollar CAD has traded through my entry. It would have been a profitable trade now, but it doesn't matter. It's about following the rules. C'est la vie. It could have so easily gone the other way. So got to trust in the rules, trade the system, stick to the plan, follow the process, and the prize will take care of itself. So here's a disappointing state of events. This is my Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar long. Basically, I'd gotten in here, traded all the way up to the first target, took off half the position, gradually exited 2/3 of the remaining positions here because price was coming down, and got this bounce. And then overnight, on the New Zealand dollar news that there was no rate cut coming, got this massive move down, very quick move down. And basically what happened, my stop was here, 107.47, which I'd moved it to, having hit my initial target here. But because price moved so fast in terms of my broker account, overnight, thin market, the earliest they could get me out was here. So between here and here, this distance here is slippage. So it didn't cost me a huge amount. This was still a profitable trade, but quite frustrating, and you've got to be aware of that sometimes. It does happen, particularly in thin markets, particularly in fast moving markets. Interestingly, it doesn't seem to have happened in my eToro account. Normally the spreads there are much worse, but anyway, you live and learn. That's why I have a stop loss. Although the stop loss didn't trigger. There is such a thing as a guaranteed stop loss. I don't tend to play those because they're more expensive, and 9 times out of 10, 90% of the time, your stop is going to get is going to do what it's supposed to do. But yeah, luckily only had a very, very, very small position on, having taken off 1/3 and 1/3 of the second position, so 1/3 and 1/3 of 50% of the position. So whatever the maths is on that, wasn't a major issue, and this trade still worked out a winner. What I'm doing now, interestingly, is I'm getting long here. I talked about this in the blog post a few days ago. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. If I look at the daily charts, there's the range. We are trading off the bottom of the range now. Big move, bam, buyers have come in here at the bottom of the range, tested 1, tested 2. What's interesting is on the weekly, you can see that this is now testing the 200 simple moving average. To break the 200 simple moving average to the downside would be quite a big ask, I think, given the fact that you know, we've been above it for the last month and a half, and it's a similar story on the monthly. We are testing the 50 simple moving average on the monthly chart, so I think we're going to find support here. That's why I've just got long again at the bottom of the market, and you know, this trade could very well pay off. But as always, time will tell, and I need to plot this on the chart now, plot the stop loss, plot the SP10 exit rules and whatnot, so I can get out if I need to get out. Another trade I've entered this morning is in US dollar Swiss franc, the Swissy. Golden Gate strategy. We have closed below the 200 and the 50 simple moving averages overnight. On this candle I got short. We're kind of stalling here a little bit. Probably need to press down below this level. There'll be stops under here probably on the shorter time frames. On the daily, you can see we're trading now below the 50 simple moving average. So I think there's a good probability we could go to the bottom of the range. My initial target's here. So well within the lows of this range. Yeah, let's have a look. Yeah, this here failed to make a new high, and this high was lower than this high. So I think there's downward pressure in this market. We're under the 200 simple moving average on the daily. On the weekly, yeah, we're kind of trapped between the two. So trading below the 50 and the 200. Simple moving average on the weekly is outside of my initial target at the bottom of this range, so I think there's a reasonable probability or a good enough probability to take this entry that we're going to hit my target, but again, time will tell. So it's 10 to 9 on Wednesday morning, day 98. God, I feel like I've been up forever, but I had quite a good night's sleep, and this new diet that I'm trying to be on, more plant-based, I think is helping with that. And with that said, here is the morning tipple that I have about 9 o'clock, 9:30, which is a glass of beetroot juice. It's not particularly nice, but apparently really good for you, full of all the vitamins you need. And apparently if you exercise, which I do on a regular basis with my jiu-jitsu, it can increase your performance in whatever physical pursuit you're doing by quite a large percentage. That's according to stats, but who knows where those stats come from. There's lies, damn lies, damn lies and statistics, so who knows. But anyway, giving it a try, experimentation, see what happens. That's really what the markets are all about. Give your system strategy a try and see what happens, and observe, and if it works, keep it. If it doesn't, then throw it out. As a key martial artist, you know, Bruce Lee said, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what is specifically unique to you, or specifically yours. And I think that's great advice for life, great advice for currency trading in particular. So just glanced at my charts. My US dollar, Swiss franc, Swissy short, and Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar long. Both of them under a little bit of pressure. So on the wrong side of my entry. Doesn't phase me too much because the technical levels are still holding. On the Swissy short, the SMAs are holding the 250, and on the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, bottom of the range is holding. So, you know, sometimes after a kind of swing on news, the market needs time to process that. The day trader possibly coming in this morning and thinking that move is going to continue. I've taken the contrarian approach, the opposite side of that trade. And you know, hopefully that'll pay off later on today. I'll get a move inside my entry and confirmation, if there is ever such a thing, that I might be on the right side of the order flow. You never 100% know, but you know, hopefully on the right side of the order flow. Yeah, just holding those positions, not panicking. If I didn't have rules in place, it might be tempting to do something stupid or get out, but because the rules are in place, all I have to do is to follow the rules. Don't need to worry about the profit or loss. Just follow the rules, and the rest will take care of itself. Got a really busy morning. Got a conference call at 9. I've got a meeting this afternoon. I've got a meeting this evening. So in addition to the trading stuff, I do run my own show on the executive career coaching front. I'm a kind of non-exec advisor on a number of different boards and whatnot, committees. So yeah, kind of get my people bit done there, because trading is a very lonely pursuit, which is one of the reasons I record the videos, I write the blogs, and I put this out publicly. So anyway, with that said, I'll crack on with the day. And as I speak, the US dollar Swissy looks like we might be getting onto the short side now. So moves to the offers, which would be nice to see, particularly on the 10 o'clock close. Got an hour and 5 minutes before that hits. Well, good morning. It's day 99 and another day in the market. It is dark. It is still raining here in the UK. Massive flooding all over the place. Makes it very, very hard to get up. Overnight, as you've just seen on the screen, news out of China, news in relation to the US-China trade talks has been quite negative. As a result, I was stopped out of my Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar long on my initial stop. New Zealand dollar had made a bit of a recovery yesterday in the fact that the Reserve Bank of New Zealand didn't cut rates. So Australian dollar has been hit a bit harder by this news overnight. I've actually got short on a Australian dollar, US dollar position this morning on a trend trade strategy. So I'm short on my intraday strategy, but long on my SIG1 weekly strategy, which is sometimes the game you play. So my plan there is that the short trade will hit its target, and then the longer term time frame will kick in and push back in favor of my longer term trade. But as always, best laid plans and all of that, you just never know. So yeah, one of the things I was thinking about this morning is my statistics, my results. And because I'm trading my SIG1 weekly strategy in the same broker account as my intraday strategies, what I'm finding is it's possibly distorting some of my results. For example, we're now, what date are we? Mid-November. I've still not closed the book on October because I still have live trades in play because they're trading on a weekly time frame. So I need to think about this and maybe set up a separate broker account to trade the longer term time frames and a separate kind of spreadsheet to analyze the these longer term timeframes in terms of their statistics. But I need to give that some thought. This is an evolving process. This challenge, it's a tough challenge, I can tell you, but it's an evolving process, learning a lot, and through learning you get better and better. So we're feeling more in control. Yet to see the major results pay off, but as I've read in many of the trading books I've read over the years, you know, this game is all about staying in the game to be there when the big move comes, and you never quite know when that big move is coming. So got a number of positions on, a number of positions in profit. In fact, most of my trades are now in profit. My Euro Swiss franc short, that hit target yesterday. So the gain there took 50% off at T, my target. So that gain was eroded by my loss on Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. But hey, swings and roundabouts. So got quite a bit on today. I'll be checking in at 10 o'clock. I think I'm going to take the kids to school. Yeah, let's see how the day plays out. So here's my Australian dollar, US dollar, Aussie trade on the weekly chart. You can see that my short entry will hit its target about, if it hits its target, will hit its target about the level of my initial entry on my Sig 1 strategy, my longer term strategy. So this could be a nice trade the intraday opportunity down to my entry, exit 50% of the position for 50% profit, well 1% profit on this trade, and then the long resumes where it effectively started. But we'll see. Sometimes you've got to play both sides of the market, and that's one of the reasons I have both a long and short broker account.
Which car is it?
This one.
Which car?
Mummy's car. Morning, Maxie. Mummy's car. In you get. It's about 11:30. Took the kids to school and came back, checked the 10 a.m. close. Not a lot happening. Australian dollar, US dollar is kind of deciding which way it's going. It's either going to eat into my weekly Sig 1 profit, or it's going to give me a profit on my intraday. Either is okay. But as I talked about earlier, I have a slight preference on that. But anyway, this weather in the UK at the moment is incredible. It literally hasn't stopped raining probably for the last week, 2 weeks, which is pretty depressing. I braved out the house, come across town to jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is my lunchtime therapy away from the market, a chance to do something that you don't think about anything else when you're doing it. So looking forward to today's session. That is unbelievable. Just driven from town, had a meeting in town, driving back, and the flooding is everywhere. That was the road into my village. Quite worried actually, because if it rains again, our house could be flooded. But anyway, luckily for the moment we're okay. But yeah, the flooding is getting really out of control. Hi Charlie, where are you? Charlie's upstairs. Where are you? Charlie's upstairs being silly. The special mission this morning, the rain is so bad, massive flooding overnight. I've got to get in the car and drive to see if the roads are open so we can take the kids to school. Got meetings today in town, not even sure I can get there, but let's go find out.
Questions for people. A priest asked of God a question, then passed on the answer. This way known as consulting an oracle.
Thanks very much all of you for braving the puddles that we've had in the rain around Nottingham. I know we're still waiting to share and enjoy, and we'll be back probably about 1:30 for Lord Kerslake to tell us all about the 2070 Commission. So enjoy. Has 2 Labradors, so everybody has dogs, as you know, is fine in my book. And he also led the head of the civil service for a number of years. I found out that
Well, good afternoon everybody, and thank you so much for inviting me to speak to you today. Now, I've had a regional policy in this country. It's just worked in the opposite direction to the way that everybody thinks it does.
to work together to actually make change. So again, we've got Turner and Townsend, I'm sure, and Richard, I'm sure will help us in terms of what they need from us.
Not everybody's here that took part, but from the club members that are, could I ask you to stand up please? Big supporter for a lot of years is John Pye, and they've won for the 5th consecutive year Asset Valuer and Auctioneer of the Year in the TRI Awards, and that's the Turnaround Restructuring and Insolvency Awards, let's do it now.
95 initiative last lunch. As you know, we're 95 years old and looking forward to the next 95 years. Very straightforward really, what we're looking to do. We've reduced the membership to £95. We want 95 new members. I would like to have 95 to lunch every month. That'd be brilliant if we could do that. But to do that, we've got to work together in terms of building the club and getting a profile out there. So we will.
So that was a busy day. School assembly at the kids' school and business networking lunch. Not a lot's happening in the market, so I'm going to park it for this for today and reconvene tomorrow and do a quick update of the charts and see how the week finished. So Wi-Fi is really fast, so if you need to work while you're away, which I do, then, so Saturday morning, and I've come out to a craft fair at the local village. Max is playing somewhere in the background at the school. This is his school. Can't get him, well, you can get him to school normally, but he wants to come on Saturday and play. There we go, what's he shouting about? Anyway, in terms of the markets, I will video you in a second. In terms of the markets, not much happened on Friday. Still in the trades I was in earlier on in the week. So I'll do a quick review roundup of those in a moment. Some of the trades that I'm in that had a decent profit have eroded a little bit, but that's the ebb and flow of the market. So the other thing I was going to say, eToro, been debating whether I'm going to come off eToro for a little while now. Day 100 was on a Friday, last Friday, or yesterday I should say, which could be a good time to kind of cap that and get out of that particular platform. What I've noticed is that it's quite difficult to manage trades in the platform with, you know, hitting target, taking off various positions. I have to do it in a kind of roundabout fashion because it's not as sophisticated as my private broker account. Yes, I'm coming to video. Okay, my son's going to show you, I've been told, my son is going to show you how high you can go in a moment. So yeah, eToro, yeah, spreads are wider. The fees I think are higher. I was looking at that this morning, and in terms of the challenge is related to the private broker account, and eToro is lost sync with that private broker account results because of the spreads, because I've got out of certain trades because of the spreads, etc. Anyway, etc. So gonna have a think about that and might make that decision. Gonna think about that over the weekend and mull it over. Anyway, I better go and film Maxi on his swing, and then I'll do a quick review of the markets to wind up the week.
I'm going to show you how high I can go on this one.
Let's do it. Good, that's brilliant. Let's go. Hi. Yes.
Hello again.
Hello again. There you go. You're really high now. There we go. Alrighty. Should we go then? Do shopping for mummy? Should we go? Should we go and do shopping for mummy? So a quick update as to where we finished the week. First of all, the SIG 1 trades. This is my cable long. just kind of bouncing around here between the 200 and the 50 simple moving averages, and also the 1.3000 handle. Got my stop here. I'm looking to see a push up and a close above these levels before adding to this position. Australian dollar, US dollar. This was under a little bit of pressure this week. We traded up, come down, but this long tail here on this candle gives me some reassurance that we're potentially moving to the upside again, looking for a break above this 50 simple moving average to potentially add to this position. Australian dollar CAD over here. Yeah, similar story to Australian dollar US dollar, Aussie long. Got this big bullish candle here. This really hasn't been tested. Down to 50% of its of its range, but I think there's still some upside potential here. And then finally, New Zealand dollar CAD. Yeah, this was under a little bit of pressure in the week. Last week and this week, the New Zealand dollar versus CAD balls came back. So this is a range trade on the intraday time frame, but looking for a push up and close above that range to give me a clue that we may get back up to this 50 simple moving average. So yeah, all of the Sig1 trades are in profit. Let's move now to the intraday trades that I'm in. So first up, euro, short on the euro from up here. We've traded down to this level, got some bids off the 1.1000 handle, target set here. If I go to the higher time frame on the daily, that target is set with the bottom of this range, if you like. So I think there's a good chance we'll get down there. We are trading now on the daily above the 50, did close above the 50, but my stop on this trade is at entry, so there's no risk on this trade. We may get some selling pressure off here if we don't close below here early on in the week. May trade up, sell off here, who knows, but that's a fairly safe trade. If we get back up to here, this is I'll pay the broker fees on the trade, but that's about it. So that's okay in my book. Australian dollar, US dollar, in fact no, US dollar, Swiss franc, Swissy, range trade. I sold here on a Golden Gate strategy. We've traded down, consolidated sideways a bit. I think there's a really good probability we'll go down to hit my target at the bottom of the range, where I'll take off half of the position and then look to see if we close below the low of this range, which here, lower this range here. If we close below that, there's a good chance we'll get some further downside momentum, which I'll look to capitalize on. Australian dollar, US dollar. Now the interesting thing with this pair is on my Sig1 trade I am long, but on my intraday I'm short, and I'm short based on a trend trade signal. So got the 10 exponential moving average crossing under the 50 here. We had a lower high here compared to here. We've got a break below this low here, some sideways consolidation, a break below this low, and it was on the close below the 200 simple moving average, which on the daily chart gives me plenty of room to trade down. We closed below the 50 simple moving average on the daily, and look at this, didn't manage to close back above the 50 simple moving average on the week. So I think potentially there's a bit more downside momentum, and what I'm looking for on this trade, it may cost me a little bit short term on my Sig1, which is a longer term strategy. If we get a push down, hit the target here, I'll make some money, and then potentially if we then trade back up, my Sig1 trade will be in the game to capitalize on. Into the synthetic pairs, and I am short on euro Swiss franc. This is a range strategy, sold off the top of the range here. We traded down underneath the 200 simple moving average, hit the target, so made some money on this trade. Now trading back up. My stop is at entry, and I have the 1.1000 is that right, 1.1000 handle in the way to cap any upside pressure, along with these simple moving averages on the daily. Got the 50 above, so I think there's a reasonable probability we could see a further trade down here through my target again, and closed below the low of the range, indicating downside momentum, but just holding for the moment. What you can see here is the turquoise line, which is the weekly trend. So yeah, if I jump out to the weekly chart, you'll see this trend line here. So we could be in a position where there is quite some significant further downside momentum that I'm looking to capitalize on. So into the commodity synthetics, and if the prior was the good news, this was the bad news here. I bought off the low of this range here, and basically was under pressure right the way down until I was stopped out on my initial stop loss. So that was a 2% loss on capital. Not ideal, but hey ho, we got to close below the range, so that indicates downside momentum now. Yeah, one of those things, you win some, you lose some, but in terms of the other trades, they're all in reasonable shape. This is a loss, you get losses are inevitable, and it's just part of the game. So looking forward to next week, looking forward to seeing what the market presents and taking advantage of it when it does.
Closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.